Hey, this is Dan. Welcome to a whole nother awesome review. Today I'll be reviewing Straight Outta Compton. Oh yeah. So anyways, I just came back from the movie Straight Outta Compton. I saw it at the movie theater, of course. And I gotta say, it's an amazing film. It's definitely probably my second favorite rap movie. Next to, I would say, the Notorious... the Notorious movie with Biggie Smalls. I really like that movie. This movie's really good too. Ice Cube's son gives an amazing performance in this. I mean, all the actors in this movie were amazing. Paul Giamatti as Jerry, this this guy who is Eazy-E's basically producer, and just the way he takes advantage of Eazy in the movie is pretty pretty bad. And Dr. Dre knew that he was taking advantage of him, and a whole bunch of people. And also, the great thing about this movie is actually 100% true. They don't try to say Death Row is any better than Eazy-E's company. In fact, in this movie, we get to see what Death Row is really about, which is this crazy, insane producer by the name of Suge Knight, who is insane, by the way. He just got in trouble for running over a person and killing them. He is in jail for that, I believe, or his court case going up. I believe he went to jail for that. But anyways, you get to see how crazy insane Suge Knight is in this movie. I mean, Suge Knight is a really bad guy. I mean, you can look up all these different interviews of him saying he's a good guy, but he's actually really bad. And I wouldn't be surprised if Suge Knight actually killed Tupac Shakur. There's a little theory about him killing Eazy-E, injecting him with AIDS or whatever, where he talks about him Jimmy Kimmel Live or whatever. But I think that is taken out of context, and they don't talk about that in the movie. That's just some crazy theory or whatever. That's just Suge Knight talking out of his mouth or whatever. But I do kind of believe that Suge Knight might have been responsible for Tupac Shakur's death. It's fairly plausible. I mean, the way the bullets went at the bottom of the car, I wouldn't be surprised if Suge Knight was. You get to see what a bad guy Suge Knight is in this movie. First of all, Suge Knight beats up this guy and makes him drink his own urine out of a glass. I mean, Suge Knight is a very bad person. He beats the crap out of this guy for taking his parking spot and almost kills him in this movie. It's insane, and it does not glorify Suge Knight in any way. And Death Row Records is basically this gangster company that Suge Knight started. He used to be a bodyguard, and he becomes this gangster. And Dr. Dre realizes right away that this guy is crooked as hell, and he wants to get out of Death Row Records. By the way, did you not know that Tupac Shakur wanted to get out of Death Row Records? If you don't believe me, you can check out 100 interviews on YouTube or whatever, because Tupac Shakur was trying to get out of the record, and then he died. And by the way, Suge Knight owed apparently Tupac a whole bunch of money, and every time he wanted money, he would just give him a car or whatever. They don't really talk about that in this movie. I think there's going to be a sequel that concentrates just on Tupac Shakur. In fact, I heard there is a sequel in the works, so hopefully we get to see Tupac Shakur's side of the story. But this is about Ice Cube, Eazy, and the rest of the gang. And the way Eazy is depicted in this movie is he's kind of a womanizer, player. He's always, hanging out with the chicks or whatever. And unfortunately, he gets AIDS, and that sucks. And at that time, there was no, treatment for AIDS. And if you got AIDS, it was a death sentence back then. Now it's kind of not curable, but it can be, less. It cannot be you can take medication and live longer with it, and it's not totally a death sentence anymore. But where in Eazy-E's time was totally death sentence if you got AIDS. So that's another thing about this movie that it explores Eazy-E's, whatever, going on. And yeah, I mean, Ice Cube is one of the main characters in this movie, played by his son, and they show how hardcore Ice Cube is. Ice Cube really got, he had this deal with the record label that he was on, and it was the record label that had done the California Raisins or whatever. So he got really pissed off at this guy, and he just went into like his record studio and smashed up all his records. And he's like, "Those are my records, and I can smash them up if I want to." And the guy was just like, he was like, "Oh my god, this guy's trying to kill me." It was probably one of the best parts in the whole movie. But seriously, this is a really good movie. It starts out with Eazy in a drug house because we know Eazy used to be a drug dealer, and basically the DEA or the army or whatever is coming to get him, and there's this giant tank taking around down this whole drug house, and Eazy's getting out of the house, and that's how the movie starts. So it's like straight out of Compton, and I mean, just the way Eazy never wanted to be a rapper, and the way Dr. Dre brings them in is pretty cool in this movie. And they're like, why don't you rap on this record? And they're all trying to get him to rap, and he's singing one line at a time type of thing. And Eazy never wanted to be a rapper, and he became a rapper, and that's pretty cool. And I mean, this movie does follow the story pretty good. One thing that they didn't do in this movie was the diss between Eazy-E and Dr. Dre. There was a music video that Eazy-E made where he dissed Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre made a music video where he dissed him. They left that entirely out of the movie. I don't know why. Maybe it was they didn't have the rights to Eazy-E's music or something. Maybe Jerry didn't want to give it over in the movie, because they depict Jerry pretty bad in this movie, and I think Jerry might have been a little pissed off, and that's why they didn't get the rights to do it or whatever. But they didn't put that in the movie. But other than that, I mean, it's a really good movie, and it follows everything pretty right. I mean, it shows that him and Dr. Dre made up, and they were gonna bring back the NWA, and but fortunately they never got to do that because Eazy-E got AIDS and basically died tragically, and you get to see the tragic death in this music, like tragic death of Eazy-E in this movie. And the cool thing about this is that the movie ends with real interviews with Tupac Shakur, Eazy-E, and it shows you the real raw footage that happened basically, and that was pretty cool to see them take all these raw footage of what really happened and put that all together at the end of the movie. So I can't wait for the sequel. I am totally down with that. So if I'm going to rate this movie out of 10, I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to say check this out. I'm going to say if you want to get two really good movies, get Straight Outta Compton and Notorious is another really good one. And I think a Tupac Resurrection is a good one. That's a documentary about Tupac Shakur's life. I would recommend that. So those are the three movies I would recommend out of the whole rap genre type thing. So definitely check those movies out, all of them, and check this movie out. 10 out of 10. Go see it. Straight Outta Compton. And that's coming. This is a review coming out of the west coast of Canada, representing the west side, west side, east side, south side, whatever. I believe Eazy-E's thing was Southside. So, but this whole West Side, East Side thing, was weird back then. There was two sides fighting over nothing, But at least we don't have that anymore, which is good. They don't really talk about that in this movie. They more concentrate on the Crips and the Bloods kind of thing, and they show that in the movie about the whole gang life lifestyle, which is pretty cool. And definitely check out Notorious, because that's the other side of the story that's going on in New York City. This is the side that's going on in California. And I can't wait to see the sequel, to see where we get to see Tupac Shakur's story finally, hopefully. I mean, I would really like to see that. So yeah, 10 out of 10. Check it out. And have an awesome night, everyone.